How's everybody doing? My name's Jeff Deso. I'm from Hendersonville, North Carolina. I wasn't raised in a Christian home. I was raised by my grandparents. My mother was mental in and out of institutions, prisons. My dad just didn't care enough to help them, and we didn't have a lot of church in our life. And when I was 13 years old, my grandfather, one person that showed me a lot of love, fell off the ladder I was holding and died. And yeah, I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't have any idea about the love of God in my heart. I didn't have any idea that I wasn't alone, but at the time I felt alone when he died. And I didn't know that. I heard people talk about there was a God, and all I knew at that age is I was mad at God because I couldn't quite understand why he didn't love me at the time. You know, I started working young to help support my family and got involved with the older crowd young. Started doing drugs and drinking by the time I was 13, 14 years old. And by the time I was 15, 16 years old, I was, as well as using drugs, I was selling drugs for the older crowd that I knew. And people I thought they cared about me but didn't, and still no love of God in my heart. And I struggled through my teenage years with feeling alone, and so I ran from that pain a lot, and the drug use would help. You know, I could hide the pain. But when I was 18, I met my best friend, and her name was Arlie Frazier, and she came from a broken home as well as I, as I did, and we understood each other. We leaned on each other, but still know God. She was raised in a non-Christian home as well. In 2002, God gave me my first gift. I didn't realize at the time, but it was my son. Somebody that I love from the time I saw him. But my drug addiction still was getting stronger and stronger as time went. We had a daughter 2 years later. Same thing, I loved her more than I can even express. But at the time, I didn't realize without God's love in my heart, I had no idea how to love anybody else. And after all the cheating and doing their mother as wrong as I did, she finally left with my kids. She was my best friend, even though I treated her as bad as I did. And the depression got extreme depression, and drug use went way, way too far. And May 17th, 2017, I had been up for days by this point and decided that I was going to get help. So I was checking into a detox, and I prayed in the waiting room for the first time since I was 13 years old. God, if you're there, show me something. Show me you love me. Show me something. And 20 minutes later, I had a widowmaker heart attack in the waiting room of the emergency room. They left me with 13% of my heart at the time. I was on a full respirator, life support for more than 2 weeks. I was in missing heart for almost a little over a month. But I was still angry with God. I was still, at that time, I was like, why am I going through all this pain? Why am I hurting as much as I'm hurting? And I'll never forget, a doctor came to me my last day in the hospital and told me, son, something I'm never going to forget, the man telling me, son, if you don't believe in God, you better start. because there's no medical reason I should have left that hospital. I started going and seeing a group, First Contact Addiction Ministries, from where I'm from in Harrisonville, North Carolina, that I'd never seen anything like it, because I always thought Christians were crazy. I thought everybody that talked about God and love were just, but these people showed me genuine love and started to show me the Word of God, and I got to meet some amazing people, Brooks Lancaster and Christian and Kevin Marvel, people that will always mean the world to me. And Christian got me connected with CLM and Tommy and Jimmy Ripple, and I got down here, thought I was humbled, and realized real quick I wasn't. I was still in the flesh, conceited, thought everybody owed me something, and so I didn't make it through the program the first time, and then I left, but it didn't take me long after to realize that God brought me here the first time to know where I needed to go when I was ready. Because in this community, the love of God is in this community, and everything that everybody does for us means the world to us. And I've been here for 70 days on a walk with a lot of brothers that I will always love. Tommy, thank you for never giving up on me and truly doing what God is meant for you to do. And Jimmy Ripple, the same. I have so much respect for y'all. The staff, Caleb, Ronnie, and a dear friend, Daniel Curry. Lewis. And my man, Richard Reed. I just want to call out Richard. Richard's been there with me from both times, and it's just amazing the people that you meet through this ministry. And I just want to say to my brothers, we will not fail as long as we walk with our heads high and Jesus in our hearts. We will not fail. And I just want, mainly in front of God, to say to my children, I swear to y'all that I will not die a drug addict. That's not going to happen. And that's all I got to say.